be, I'm ignoring this. It will be, your titles are stripped. You are...
Dukedoms and H's formally revoked, according to the Daily Beast, by Prince William, then King William.
I guess pressure over the weekend on Charles to go further anyway. Because of course, by allowing...
After years of warnings, whispers, and royal tension, King Charles finally did the unthinkable. He stripped Harry and Meghan of their royal titles. No more Duke, no more Duchess, just plain Harry and Meghan. The same couple who in the eyes of so many had pushed the crown too far. Can you believe it? The couple that once stood beside the Queen, radiant and adored, now cast out of the kingdom's circle. People across Britain couldn't stop gasping. This wasn't a rumor anymore. It was real. The king had finally made his move. It finally happened. After years of royal drama, endless Netflix pity tours, and those California privacy podcasts everyone rolled their eyes at, King Charles III officially stripped Harry and Meghan of their titles. No more Duke and Duchess of Sussex. No more pretending to represent a monarchy they'd spent 4 long years trashing on camera.
At his coronation. I mean, that is extraordinary. That shows you how far things have fallen. I don't think there is a way back. The
palace corridors were alive with one phrase whispered behind gloved hands and under jeweled chandeliers, "It's done." And oh, what a storm that phrase unleashed. For King Charles, this wasn't an act of rage, it was exhaustion. Absolute bone-deep exhaustion. After years of chaos, public humiliation, and one too many second chances, the king's patience had run out. He had tried everything: reconciliation dinners, private talks, heartfelt letters, but the circus never ended. And while the world thought Charles would never act, he quietly came to a devastating truth. Patience had turned into paralysis. If he didn't do something soon, the monarchy itself might crumble under the weight of its own silence. When Charles ascended the throne, the world hoped for unity, a royal family reborn. Instead, his reign was haunted by 2 figures who lived 6,000 miles away, yet dominated every British headline.
Continued to use her HRH despite being ordered not to do so by the late Queen Elizabeth II. And they say that Prince William's owned
the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, but not for their good deeds, oh no. They were famous for controversy, confessions, and their endless criticism of the very institution that had once embraced them. And the king had finally had enough. Charles tried to ignore it, all the explosive documentaries, the tell-all interviews, even that memoir that turned family grief into a global bestseller. He's a father before he's a king, one courtier had once said. But even a father's forgiveness has its limits. Every time Charles extended mercy, Harry and Meghan turned it into yet another media moment. The heartbreak of it all, the king's love twisted into content for the world's entertainment. Then came the revelation that shattered what little trust remained. Meghan had still been using her Royal Highness styling in private correspondence. The late Queen had been assured promised.
Full-time working royals or lead lives as private citizens. But you know what?
That this would never happen again. Learning that it had continued deliberately and secretly was a wound that struck not just at royal duty, but at the heart of the family itself. For King Charles, that was it, the final betrayal. They say he wrestled with the decision for months, torn between duty and love. But the royal advisors were clear. The monarchy could not look powerless. Every moment of hesitation erodes the crown, one advisor warned. The line had to be drawn. And Charles, for all his fatherly compassion, knew only the king could draw it.
Will a divorce change things? Maybe. But remember, Prince William set Harry these very...
So he did. With quiet, almost solemn resolve, Charles ended years of uncertainty. No more half measures, no more gray areas. Titles carry weight, and weight demands responsibility. For Charles, protecting the crown, even from his own bloodline, was the price of peace. When the first whispers of title removal reached Montecito, Meghan reportedly refused to believe it. The woman who had built an empire of influence on royal association couldn't imagine life without that connection.
A major blitz in which he'll strip a series of outer royals of their titles. So what would that mean for Princess Beatrice?
Well, she's married to Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi, who's Italian.
To her, losing the Duchess of Sussex wasn't just a personal blow, it was existential. Her voice, her power, her entire identity revolved around those 4 words. Behind the scenes, chaos erupted. Late-night phone calls, frantic emails, PR strategists pacing their offices. Meghan's team, usually masters of spin, didn't know how to handle this. Statements were drafted, then torn apart. Allies were called, then silenced. She wanted to get ahead of the story, but there was nothing to spin. This time, the palace wasn't floating rumors. The decision was firm. final, and terrifyingly real. For Meghan, the humiliation wasn't just about losing a title, it was about losing control. Ever since she'd left royal life, she'd crafted herself as a symbol of empowerment, a modern woman breaking free. But now the institution she'd once defied had struck back hard. And in the royal world,
link that was so personal was Catherine. It was like, do not.
Silence can be the loudest statement of all. Friends close to Meghan say she was stunned not just by the act itself, but by the timing. The King's move came right as her new lifestyle brand, the one she believed would cement her as a global tastemaker, was about to launch. Investors were watching, waiting to see if her royal glow still shimmered. And then boom, overnight, Hollywood's Duchess became simply Meghan Markle. And without that royal shine, the spotlight can dim very, very fast. Sources say Harry tried to calm her, urging patience, but even he was shaken. He knew exactly what this meant, not just for their public image, but for who they were as a couple. They weren't the Duke and Duchess of Sussex anymore. They were just Harry and Meghan. And in the brutal world of fame and influence, names are everything. Behind closed doors in Montecito,
Some of the suggestions are not just about Andrew and Fergie and their daughters, but also Prince Harry and Meghan, which will obviously be quite distressing for them. That could be effectively a bit of revenge on that sort of side. But that's what happened, and it could be coming within early weeks of King William V is what he would.
disbelief slowly turned into determination. Meghan wasn't ready to surrender. If the palace wanted to play quiet power games, she'd answer not with silence, but with strategy. She always does. Prince William had watched it all in silence for years. The interviews, the accusations, the documentaries that painted his family as villains while the Sussexes basked in sympathy from afar. But this latest wave of chaos was the final straw. The heir to the throne had reached his breaking point. He had been patient, too patient, but now he was done watching the monarchy's dignity crumble under the weight of Netflix deals and California soundbites. Insiders whispered that William's patience had turned to quiet resolve. Behind palace doors, he began holding secret meetings with senior advisors, pushing for an end to what he called a long chapter of chaos. While King Charles wrestled with guilt, William's focus was ice cold. The monarchy, he said, must survive even if it meant rewriting royal history. He proposed something drastic, a letters patent, a royal decree powerful enough to reshape the monarchy for generations. It wouldn't just affect Harry and Meghan, it would streamline titles across the entire royal family. Even Prince Andrew and the extended York line would feel the sting. Painful but necessary surgery, one insider called it. The body of the monarchy had to heal, and William was ready to wield the scalpel. He'd watched too long as every royal duty, every charitable project, even updates on the king's health were buried under the noise of the Montecito media machine. Every scandal, every confession, every tell-all dragged the family further into ridicule. This wasn't just bad press, it was slow erosion. Those closest to William said he delivered his message to his father calmly but firmly. No shouting, no threats, just conviction. If we don't restore order now, he told Charles, we risk losing control forever. He wasn't rebelling against his father, he was preparing for the future. If Charles couldn't act, William would. Because when his time came, he wanted to inherit a monarchy that could stand on its own, not one gasping for survival. Her plan was simple. If the world still saw her as royal, she'd stay relevant, powerful, and profitable. For a while it worked. America adored her. Brands lined up. She became the face of modern royalty. And Meghan's glossy photo shoots and luxury deals, they proved that prophecy right. To the king, her American reinvention symbolized everything the monarchy must never become a brand instead of a birthright. And the king's patience, his famously long royal patience, finally snapped. When word spread that Charles was ready to act, Prince Harry tried one last time to stop it. Desperate, emotional, he requested a private meeting his son, pleading with his father. Insiders say he didn't appeal to duty, but to conscience. You're punishing the first biracial duchess, he reportedly said. History will remember it. It was a calculated sting. He knew how much his father feared the judgment of history, but the king's advisors were immovable. This isn't about race, one told him. It's about conduct. The monarchy had rules, and those rules had been broken over and over. If the king caved every time a family member threatened bad press, the monarchy would become nothing more than a soap opera, and Charles refused to let that happen. Still, he hesitated. He knew how America would react: outrage, op-eds, endless debates about whether the royals were racist or ruthless. But he also knew that indecision was killing the crown faster than criticism ever could. For nights, he barely slept. Torn between being a father and being a king, he wrestled with his conscience. But in the end, duty won. The monarchy had survived wars, divorces, and scandals, but never indecision. And Charles was done waiting. Behind the scenes, another storm brewed not from tabloids, but from Parliament itself. For the first time in decades, lawmakers were discussing royal reform. The whispers began with one sentence: the monarchy cannot remain silent while its members undermine it from abroad. The frustration in Westminster was boiling. Senior MPs drafted a proposal quietly dubbed the Royal Titles Bill. It would give the Crown, with Parliament's consent, the power to revoke titles from any royal who brought dishonor or commercial conflict to the institution. A shocking move, yes, but one the public applauded. And then, something unprecedented happened. The palace and Parliament found themselves on the same side. Prince William's camp seized the moment. They urged the king to broaden the measure, make it not just about the Sussexes, but about the future. Clean house once and for all. Reform titles, redefine succession, and modernize the monarchy before it was too late. It was bold, it was ruthless, but it was exactly what the monarchy needed. The courtiers called it surgery. The people called it justice. Still, Charles hesitated until he remembered his mother. Before her death, Queen Elizabeth II had made Harry and Meghan promise. They could step back, but they must never exploit their titles. She believed them because she loved them, but they broke that promise again and again. From multi-million-dollar media deals to endless interviews, they'd turned Sussex into a global brand. The Queen had warned against that very thing. And now, Charles saw it unfolding exactly as she feared. He felt it as betrayal, not just of the crown, but of her memory. That's when he decided. This wasn't vengeance, this was restoration. When the royal decree was finally signed, it wasn't done with fanfare, it was done in quiet honor to the late queen. Charles fulfilled the duty she never lived to see completed. And then the hammer fell. When the royal statement reached California, the Montecito air turned icy. Meghan's reaction? One source said she was absolutely livid. For years, she dismissed rumors of title removal as tabloid gossip. But this time, there was no spin, no soft landing. The royal seal made it real. Within hours, she reportedly called an emergency meeting with her PR and legal teams. The strategy? Damage. Control fast. They'll spin it as punishment for speaking truth, one insider whispered. They'll flip the narrative by morning. Classic Meghan turned the scandal into sympathy. But this time, it didn't work. Even in America, people were tired. The fascination had faded. The Duchess, who once captivated Hollywood, now came off as entitled. The audience had moved on. Harry, meanwhile, was devastated not for the fame, but for the children. It's their birthright, he kept saying. But even that, deep down, he knew wasn't true. Titles are earned through service, not inheritance, and certainly not through Netflix. For Meghan, it was an identity crisis. The title had been her armor, her aura, her key to the world. Without it, she was, once again, Meghan Markle, the actress, not the Duchess. And the palace? They didn't gloat. They simply removed her name from the royal website, archived the Sussex bios, and erased their portraits from the family gallery. Quiet. Clinical. Final. A digital exorcism. By the time the world woke up, the monarchy had spoken not through interviews or statements, but through silence. The Sussexes were gone from the fold. Titles revoked. Profiles buried. The dynasty restored. And for once, the crown glistened brighter than the scandal.